Hello everyone and welcome back to the Consumer Behavior course. Today we want to talk about another internal force that affects consumer behavior. Today we want to talk about personality. Personality is defined as the set of inner psychological characteristics that defines how we might react to a certain situation. Many people argue that personality is genetic, others say that it is the result of our environment, our relationship with parents, friends, childhood, etc. We are not here to settle this, but we can say that it's a combination of both. In this matter, I want to tell you about the story of Phineas Gage, who was a railroad worker in the United States. And unfortunately, Phineas suffered from an accident. While he was working, a metal rod went through his face and removed a part of his brain. And luckily, Phineas Gage survived, but everyone who knew Phineas said that the person was not the same as he was before the accident. His personality completely changed. So apparently our physiology and especially our brain has something to do with our personality. I will attach the link of the Phineas Gage story if you want to read more about it. Now let's go back to the consumer behavior. In consumer behavior, we have two theories about personality that I want to talk about. We have the Freudian theory first and the trait theory. The Freudian theory, we all know Sigmund Freud, the father of psychology. And when we talk about Sigmund Freud, we talk about mother sexuality. People think about this. Now we want to say that according to Sigmund Freud, personality is the result of interaction between three dimensions: id, ego, and superego. The id is the area of impulses, the area where we always seek to satisfy our needs, our pleasures, thirst, hunger, sexuality. It is the area where we move things that we repress. It is our subconscious. On the other side, we have the superego. The superego is the social norms, the morality, the social pressures. And finally, we have the ego, which is the conscious, which is ourselves. And we always live between these two forces, the id from one side and the superego. And every person should try to find a balance or equilibrium between those two pressures to live a normal life. Now, how can this relate to consumer behavior? According to marketers who believe in this theory, they say that our behavior is related to subconscious needs. For example, a person who wants to belong to a certain group might, for example, go into gym membership. He buys the brands, he buys the apparels, and he wants to belong to a certain group of athletes, a certain group of people. He wants to interact with them. On the other side, the person who is seeking fame and seeking, for example, fortune might buy new cars, might buy new watches to belong to a certain group of wealthy people. So it depends on some subconscious needs that we are hidden, and they reflect and they appear as a certain buying patterns.